Hello, I'm Carolyn, your host, and welcome to a Certified Teachers exclusive weekly mini, your bite-sized workshop on the hottest Acro topics. You can reference all of our previous weekly minis and more amazing content on the AcroDance Resource Center. If you have questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer those for you in follow-up. And if you know another certified teacher who should hear about today's topic, be a friend, tag them right now, and let them know we're here. Today, we present the last in our three-part series dedicated to promoting correct technique in specific AcroDance skills, including illusions, cartwheels, and today, walkovers, with master teacher Loren Dermody. Loren has been with acrobatic arts since the beginning, and she continues to share her creativity and years of experience towards the growth of new programs and the expansion of the syllabus. She is an acrobatic arts course conductor, examiner, head of research and development for the company, as well as being the current host for the Acrobatic Arts podcast. Let's cue her up for this amazing presentation.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for having me back for the third part of this little series. Now we're going to talk about walkovers. And I do think I sort of waited to do walkovers till the end because I do think you need to be a little bit more stronger and have the proper technique in order to do these safely and do them progressionally. So let's get started with our walkover. So as always, I have my two demonstrators, Allie and Juliana, and I did cue them to do some things wrong and so that I could help the teachers that are watching this with some of their things. So this is a three-part series. I won't take too much time. We're reviewing some of the flexibility skills that I think are important. Of course, the front splits right and left are important for a walkover, and it's good to do the open and the square when you're doing your front splits. The square are obviously going to keep your walkovers a little more online, and the open will give a little bit more extension. The forward bend, really important to get into the walkover and into the handstand. So we want to make sure they have straight legs, long backs. Now onto our strength. Of course, V-sit is going to create that great core connection. And we want them to be strong in planks as well. So I actually am going to ask the dancer on the left to lift up a little bit and engage so that she's nice and strong. Now, what else do we need? Well, we probably need that straight handstand at the wall for strength. So we're going to help the dancer become confident upside down. We're going to make sure that they know where straight alignment is so that they can achieve this walkover safely. The head position is really up to you for strength, but for the walkover, we do like them looking at the floor, really as long as they can. It's a natural extension of the curve of the spine, and it does make the walkover look a little smoother and fluid when they're doing it. So then we would take their handstands to the center. And of course, we'll start off with the L handstand. We want to make sure that they understand the transfer of weight onto their hands and their shoulders. And we want to make sure they understand that stacked alignment. So when they're even in the center, we want to make sure that they are achieving that vertical position. So you'll see the dancer on the right is sort of on a slight diagonal. So we need to work on her strength, and we need to make sure she understands where straight up and down is for her handstand in order for her to have complete control of the walkover when she's doing it. So handstands, handstands, handstands. Now, also important, of course, for the walkover is going to be the bridge. So my dancers are going to push up and show you their bridges, and there may be some corrections we need to make. So we can see right away, arms are too wide apart. The head is not looking at the floor. So remember, I talked about the natural curve of the spine. So we do want to look at the floor. Feet are turned out. They should be parallel. Feet are too wide. They should be no wider than hip distance apart. And lifting those hips up, both of them are doing that pretty well, so that's good. We do want them to have straight arms. We want them to move them in so that they're closer together. We want them to get those feet parallel and hip distance apart, so they're making those corrections. We want them to look at the floor We'll see if they eventually look at the floor. There they go. And we want them to keep pushing through their upper back and shoulder area. There we go. So they get a nice stretch. So that would be a good indication that they're ready once they get to this point and they've made all the corrections in their bridge. So they're going to push up again. And of course, we want to make sure that they're solid on one leg because the walkover will be starting and landing on one leg. So we're doing retire développé. You can see that they're not quite hitting vertical. That would be one of the first things. And you would go back to those front splits. We want them to have super straight legs. And we want to make sure that they're not tipping from side to side and that their hips remain square and they're not twisted. Their arm positions are pretty good. They're both looking at the floor, which is nice. Their feet are stretched, which we're going to want in the walkover. So now the bridge recover. Again, let's check out the posture. This dancer could be more pulled up. She should be bringing her arms to her head first, then lengthening up before she goes back. She is going to start turning out her feet, I can tell. There we go. And she has no support at the back. So she kind of goes forward in order to offset that and so that she can keep her balance. But you can see how her knees are turned out and her feet are turned out. When she comes up, her hips aren't forward, so she's going to lose her balance. And then again, she needs to find that nice posture at the very beginning. So now we'll see if Juliana can come on and show us a little bit better technique into the bridge recover. And I think she's coming. I want to fix this dancer's posture right at the end and the beginning. Here's Juliana. So you can tell she's going with arms and head, which is nice. Her hips are in the right spot. She had no trouble pushing through and recovering. So that would be a much better bridge recover. And of course, we're going to practice the walkovers right and left, which is hard to do. So this is a harder skill to do on both sides. We saw bent legs in that one. And we'll see Juliana's right and left. So this is her right. And now her left, she was smart. She can't come up on her left. So she did a limber instead, which is what your dancer should do. Now, if they're having trouble coming up on one leg, this is a great little drill or skill that they can practice at the ballet bar. So one leg up, they bend back as far as they can go with being able to return. And now we'll see some of the common errors that we have in the walkover. You can see that one hand is in front of the other. So we would want them both side by side. And you could use a line on the floor to help the dancer understand that. Good. We see this dancer twisting a little bit. She's bringing one hand off the floor before the other, right here. And again, that could come from her hips not being square, or it could come from the alignment of the hands on the floor, or even her upper body strength. And I would go back and check her bridge recover as well. So now I had her do it going backwards because we can really see that she's bending her arms and her arms are too wide. And I would bet any chance that that dancer does that in their bridge as well. So let's see what Juliana was trying to show us. The bent legs. So again, you can see that that is the front split. So if they are lacking flexibility, they won't be able to get that nice extension in their front walkover. And I saw something on that one. We'll slow it down. So this is where she is not looking at the floor and she's actually bringing her head up early. And again, it could be preference. Some people think it's stronger bringing that chin in, but at Acrobatic Arts, we do like the natural curve. So we do want them looking at the floor. And now this one was really hard for her, but it is sort of a common thing that happens if they don't have the flexibility or the strength. she's actually going to do it like a front handspring. It's sort of a bad front handspring and a bad front walkover. She jumps onto her hands, maybe because she doesn't have the flexibility or she wants the momentum or the power. And now she's going to jump off of her hands and pike at the hips and land sort of in a squat position, which again, if they don't have the flexibility or the strength to keep their hips up and do the bridge recover, then sometimes that's what you see in the front walkover. So thank you to Allie and Juliana. They did a great job. And as I've said, they had fun thinking of some common corrections for us to correct. So Carolyn, that was the walkover. That completes all three in the mini series of the illusion, the cartwheel, and the walkover. I hope some of these corrections will help the teachers and the dancers. And I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to come on and share with you.
If you're interested in learning more and working with master trainers and skilled professionals like Loren, Dermody, visit acrobaticarts.com for upcoming opportunities both in person and online. We are constantly adding new dates with our UK and Australia tours coming this fall and New Year, respectively. Don't miss out. Our 2024 dates for North America will be announced on December 1st. Thank you again, teachers. Thank you, Loren, Allie, Juliana. We'll see you all next time. Bye.